Now, the British Supreme Court on Wednesday denied the United Kingdom's long-delayed and controversial plan to send asylum seekers to Rwanda. The nation's top court decision dealt a serious blow to Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who had promised to stop the boats, a populist catchphrase for preventing illegal immigration from France across the UK in advance of next year's anticipated general election. Rwanda received an initial $174 million last year to receive migrants who made the 4,000-mile trip, although none have been sent yet. However, Wednesday's ruling cast doubt that would happen. And so to further discuss this, I'm being joined by the Chairperson, Africa Diaspora Forum, Vusumuzi Sibanda. Thank you so much, Vusumuzi, for talking to us at this time.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for inviting me.
Now, tell us, what are some of the concerns raised regarding the feasibility and, of course, the sustainable management of asylum seekers in Rwanda, to the point that the highest court in Britain had to reject the possibility of those asylum seekers being moved to Rwanda?
Well, it has always been suggested that the program itself could be unlawful. But indeed, this has come out to a point where it has also been pointed out that Rwanda could be unsafe, and it has got a very bad human rights record, and particularly in treating, refugees, and its borders with DRC and Uganda, where ordinarily there are, some unrest. And most important of all, that there was a risk, of, the people that would be sent, to Rwanda being refouled back to the countries where they felt they were unsafe, which would mean that the European Convention on the Human Rights would obviously be violated, and other three, British laws that have been passed over the last 30 years that seek to protect asylum seekers, that they would all be violated in the process.
Okay, so let's take a look at the decision now by the UK's court to reject the deportations to Rwanda. How will these potentially benefit asylum seekers at this point?
Well, look, apart from, the trip that was about plus minus 7,000, kilometers from UK to Rwanda, and some of them considering that they would have left, Africa to go to UK because the environment in Africa does not really, ensure their protection. Now it means that the asylum seekers that are in the UK are not facing, the risk of being sent back to Africa, where the possibility of being in an unsafe environment, not only in Rwanda or in neighboring countries, is very high. Now, it also means that those that are already there and those that still want to go, they still have got a chance of getting asylum in UK, which has got laws that can ensure that within a given and stipulated period of time with certainty, they may end up, getting citizenship, if, protected. And considering the economies of Africa, a good number of them that are very bad, that means that, the asylum seekers have got a chance of actually, maybe living the lives that they want to live in a more, democratic and safer environment where there are no likelihoods of being, killed by, the government or people fighting against the government. As we have seen, that they have said that in Rwanda, anyone who speaks against the government is unsafe, and people would therefore find themselves at risk of, fighting with the Rwandan government and being killed. So the safety, therefore, is definitely not guaranteed. And the asylum seekers, therefore, are much more safer now, at least for as long as, the court's ruling and this particular plan is rejected.
Okay, now, if this plan had gone ahead, what ways would the Rwandan government benefit from accepting asylum seekers under this plan? Because according to reports, they received $174 million last year to actually receive these migrants, but now none has been sent, and the British High Court has rejected that proposal. So is it an economic loss for Rwanda? Are there gains that we do not know about? Are there social or political advantages that would or should come to Rwanda or to the UK, or there have been losses as a result of this rejection?
Well, the rejection definitely brings in a lot of losses to the right-wing, proponents and, the government of the UK, who have been hoping to keep, a lot of these migrants from Asia and Africa away from, the UK, obviously, because, the government seeks now to, take this right-wing, position. But coming to Rwanda, you would notice that Rwanda had already started to have houses being built in Rwanda, where these people were going to stay. So there is, obviously economic development, rather benefit, because the money that they have received, I doubt if it will be asked to be repaid back, and the buildings that had been erected where these people would stay, which is something that has never, real happened in Africa. One of the countries that takes a lot of migrants, is South Africa. And there's been no obligation to build, houses or accommodation, for asylum seekers and migrants, which actually is the accommodation that is often provided in the UK, and a sizable budget, are given to each person of about 105,000, pounds, per individual per year. And this is not what is happening now. And Rwanda was going to be the first to have that. And the credibility of Rwanda would probably have risen, because then people would have seen Rwanda as a more progressive country, despite its despotic, political condition, which sees and is often said that it does not allow, people that are against, government, policy, and, that are against, Kagame. So now, that is obviously going to bring down, the ratings, for the, president of Rwanda, who's seeking to be elected for the fourth time, almost 3 decades, which already that on its own does not show that there is democracy in that country because of the change, in the constitution and all those issues. So yes, Rwanda was standing to benefit a lot from this particular project, and the propaganda was going to grow in favor of the Rwandan government.
Vusumuzi Sibanda, Chairperson, Africa Diaspora Forum, thank you so much for talking to us.